So in this video, my goal for the end of the video is to have the coil packs on, spark plugs on, or the wires and everything. I want to get the injector O-rings, that way those are all set, the injectors are where they need to be. We got to run the fuel line, the transmission lines, the transmission cooler lines. I want to look through the wire harness. I'm hoping either everything goes well and I can get the harness actually plugged in. We'll see how it goes. And then if we have some extra time after that, it might go into the next video, honestly. But I want to start getting the tubes for the radiator, because this is going to be a little bit of a concoction, and so is the intake. So the intake, we'll see how I have to do it, but we're going to get the intake ran and the radiator hoses taken care of. So I'm going to compile a list of everything that I'm going to be ordering from O'Reilly. We like ordering from O'Reilly. They're a lot nicer than AutoZone. Don't go to AutoZone. But I'm going to get everything that I need to order from O'Reilly, and then once I order everything, you know, belt and the O-rings and all that stuff, then I want to pull out the harness, and we're going to see what this painless harness, if it's actually painless. Stuff's on order. We now have the harness, which we got everything that we need. You know, it's a 99 to 06 style engine, any of these three choices: electric fuel injection, manual throttle body, integrated universal chassis. So that's why we got this, because they don't make a, you know, harness that will be plug and play to a B2200. And considering there isn't much else going on in the truck, I figured this was the easiest, because also doing this kit, when you plug it in, the ECU will now control the AC, everything with that, because it all plugs into the ECU the way it would on a normal truck. This is essentially for, like, if you were doing AC and everything in a rat rod, or some 50s or 40s chassis that didn't have a typical integrated, you know, plug and play kind of thing. Ooh, that's always good. Before you begin.
I like how you toss it to the side.
Yeah, don't worry. I'll read that off screen. Y'all don't need to see me read that, but what do we got here? Flexible, semi, nylon, blah, blah, whatever, we'll read that later. The one thing that I like about kits like this is they usually have stuff like this. So horn relay, what's this one? Okay, check engine light stuff, the that's the connector, right? The OBD connector, I think. Cruise control module, which we're not running in this, but that's cool that it's in there. Oh look, we have our own little check engine light with the diagnostic connector. I like that. It does have a fuse box. What do we got here? Ooh, extra connectors? I'm liking this kit. It's actually really cool that they send all of this. So this is for anything that we're probably going to have to adjust or add to the car. I'm guessing for, you know, the fuel pump or anything like that. They definitely did try to make this as easy as possible. We'll see what this is, whatever P720 is. I'm sure there's in the book down there. Oh, look at that. Are those flashers? They are flashers, yeah, because this has the blinkers and all. So I'm guessing this is a brake pedal switch. This is literally for you putting wiring on a car. Dielectric grease, because you can never have too much. And then, oh my God. Yeah, this is not a light setup. Oh, is this alternator? This might be alternator, which is awesome that they already put it into the harness. So essentially, we're gonna be taking apart all of these things and then laying it out throughout the car. That way we know where we can put everything. And I know that they have a length for the fuse box and for the ECU, so we can have a little bit of adjustment on where we want to put it. Ooh, this is even, look at this. It's for the fuse box. Granted, shipping did its toll on it, but yeah, it's got everything we need. Transmission relay, AC relay, cooling fan number 1 and 2, and then I'm sure the wires have it all listed on there, which will make all of this really easy. But so far so good on this painless stuff. Yeah, they don't have ECU flash services anymore. And then probably the Bible. This will be following all of it. Now, if this is like anything else that I've had in the past for similar systems like this, you may say, I'm not good with electronics, or I'm not good with wiring. Whoever wrote this planned on you being horrible at wiring. So read it, and you should be able to figure it out from there if you have any kind of common sense. I'm guessing one of the junkyard people who cut this engine out cut this and realized, oh, I don't have to cut that harness because this one goes with the coil packs. So I'm gonna see how well I can get it resoldered together with the regular harness. And if we have to get a new harness, we do, but if I can just save her a little bit of money, I will, because like I said, this isn't a show car. She's gonna drive it every day. She just wants a good engine that's easily repairable and reliable. All right, so we got the wires all soldered together. I think they'll work fine. I'm gonna take the injectors off. We still don't have everything that we ordered because not all of it was at the store we order from, so we're waiting for shipping and stuff like that. But I'm gonna get these off so that I can get them ready for the new O-rings. Oh yeah, good thing half of them are missing the O-rings for the bottom. I got O-rings for the bottom and top. The little piece missing off of this end, it's not the end of the world. I mean, the O-ring squeezes up against that, so we shouldn't have any problems, but worst case, we need one injector. Just keep it straight. Keep going. You're gonna be in the sun. Keep going. A little bit more. There. So Fred painted the hood and front bumper on this. And you may be asking, oh, I can't wait to see the video on that. Well, we didn't do one because Fred was too worried and whatnot about getting the color to match. Was it much nicer than the rest of it? Oh, you were giggling, so. Oh. Way better than before. You actually can't tell now. I'm gonna start opening this up because I gotta see what we gotta play with. The other thing too is I'm curious what the speaker wire's for. I essentially got this kit or whatever, you know, this harness, because it's a complete everything kit. Like you could put this in a sand rail and have, you know, cruise control module and AC and everything wired in the way it should be.
And speakers.
Apparently, and speakers, yeah. Right rear turn brake. It's nice, but it's gonna hurt my brain reading most of this. All right, so there's that. Cruise control, DLC, wiper motor, brake switch. Okay, so that goes to the one that's in there. Dome light. This really is an everything harness. This is dope. Courtesy lights, look at that. This kit might be too fancy for what we were gonna do. Flasher, hazard. Okay. The nice thing about this, since none of the wires have any ends on them, I know I said that's nice, but you know, to some people it's not. Essentially what that means is we just tap into the wires on the car, and now this harness is part of the connectors that plug into everything on the car. So the ones that go to the headlights, we use the OEM headlight harness or connectors for the Mazda. This has extra length, and I know I think there was an option in there, or they just do it, where the fuse box has, you know, an extra amount of stuff. So, you know, from where the engine harness splits, you know, we have this like 3-foot section, and that's so that you have choices of where you're going to put the fuse box. It's not within a certain distance or a smaller distance from the engine. It's, you know, 3 feet from where that separates. This seems like it's a lot simpler than if I was trying to wire it myself. But I will refuse to say that this is going to be easy, because as all of the renters that come here to actually work on their own cars, whenever they say something's going to be easy, I tell them to shut up. I literally tell them to shut the fuck up, because you never want to say something's going to be easy, because you're one broken bolt or I'm one, you know, factory misaligned wire away from a complete nightmare. So right now, it looks good. until the end, I won't say this is easy or wonderful or painless. Once we're done at the end and everything went well, then I'll say it. We finally got all of the stuff that I ordered. You know, a bunch of hoses, transmission cooler line, fuel line, heater hose, vacuum hose. The belt that we need for the Holley kit, which is great because they give you the part number. Granted, that's not the part number in the kit. I had to cross-reference it, but that's the part number for one of these style belts. A new thermostat. We have the fuel filter. Spark plug wires, we got these just because we don't want to play around with the exhaust manifolds. We want these to never melt. And then our O-rings. So there's 2 kits. You get 1 kit for 4 injectors. I'm guessing Chevy probably uses these on 4 cylinders, so it's just easier for them to do 2 separate kits. So grabbing the new fuel filter, we're gonna replace the old fuel filter, although we might be lucky, I haven't tried yet, but we'll see if the actual fitting on the truck plugs into, oh, beautiful. Look at that, no modification needed, except for the lock doesn't fit. Well, you win some, you lose some, okay? All right, so we have the fuel line where I think I want it. I'm not going to actually affix it to anything until I know this is where we want it to go, but it just, you know, rides along the frame rail, how it probably would have. And then this is how we got the transmission from the junkyard. You know, they cut these very nicely. So I'm going to get a pipe cutter and actually cut these so that they're open. That way we can route them to the radiator, because these are the cooler lines. Oh, come on. Ooh, look at that. All right, 1 down. Ooh.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, as I hit the camera. I'm gonna do the second one. This takes forever because they're thick and I don't know, it's oily, so I'm slipping when I'm trying to tighten this thing. All right, so I did realize that apparently I got the wrong size transmission cooler line. So we got 5/16, but I think I need 3/8. I can get it started. I have it started on the radiator side, but it is a bear and I can't get much more than that much pushed on because it's just sitting there fighting me. So I'm gonna get the 3/8 hose and we're just gonna move on to the rest of it. We're gonna drop it and, you know, start doing stuff up top. Come on. All right, we have a belt. I'm trying, because like maybe more. Because I also don't want it to kink under there. It's less noticeable.
Here's what we do. No, seriously. We get one of the truck 5.3 Vortex fucking
covers?
plastic covers.
I think they have the covers for these.
Yeah.
Like we don't need a truck one.
Whatever.
Well, I guess we can get a 5.3 one because it's a 5.3.
Whatever.
But yeah.
Get one of the, and then it'll cover over all the nasty, ugly.
And then we'll cut a hole in her hood.
Yes. To fit the plastic cover.
So weird.
Oh, she would hate us for sure. Come on, there we go. It is now time to take this mess and throw it on that mess. And then we're just gonna see how everything routes and what we could figure out where the fuse box is gonna go, how the wiring is gonna route through the engine bay, and then what we're gonna do with all the extra stuff that go to the rest of the car. Okay. Oh, that's right. This is really long, so we can put the ECU where we want, which depending on where this is all routed, we might be able to put it under the dash, which would be kind of nice. It's just out of the way. We'll start with the alternator and move from there. Idle air control valve, TPS, engine coolant temperature, injector number 1, 2, or number 1, 3, 5, and 7. Come on. Ugh. Okay. Oh, what the fuck?
No way.
I gotta check, we have the wrong injectors. There might be a difference between LS and whatever this kid, the 5.3, or it might be a year thing. I'll have to see why these are different. Map sensor, which is on the back. Ground wires, cam position sensor. Starter wire stuff, which I'm guessing is signal and battery. Okay, we're gonna go up and I'm gonna route the starter stuff so we know how far that's gonna go or which way it's gonna route. The crank position sensor I'm gonna plug in. I gotta get a connector for the oil pressure sensor, probably because they, you know, it can have any of the oil pressure sensors that were for any of these engines. So transmission stuff. I'm gonna figure out the Prindle because this goes to the park neutral safety switch, or not, well, the selector, the gear selector for the automatic. It has VSS on it, but we're doing a GPS VSS, so that's not gonna be plugged in. Vehicle speed sensor. And the GPS one is gonna be nice just because trying to figure out the size of the tires and rotation, all that stuff is beyond me, and I don't care to pay a tuner to do it when for like $100 or whatever, you can get the sensor in the dash that we have, it works with fine, so why not? How this is with the wire harness, I'm probably going to have this come down and like wrap around the starter because the crank position sensor is way the fuck back in here. Well, I think as of right now though, we can say that the wiring is mostly where it needs to be. There is some stuff I gotta order, some stuff I gotta figure out, but in the next video, we're going to get it started, that's my goal, and finish the wiring, routing and mounting the fuse box, because I like where the fuse box is on that little side over on the passenger side, and I'm pretty sure I can put the ECU inside the car because we have a decent sized hole to shove the connectors through. Yeah, so I have a good feeling that the next video we'll have a running, be it open header, LS swapped B2200.